not being implemented. On this, I'm joined by Professor Swaran Singh, Center for International Studies, JNU, Professor Scott Lucas, Professor International Politics, Clinton Institute, University of College Dublin, and Major Dan Pfefferman, Israel Defense Force and Executive Director, Sharaka. Thank you all of you for joining me. I've tried to put the entire picture, all sides, fair representation to all the views. Professor Swaran Singh, is this the new norm in West Asian politics? No covert action. We are witnessing direct military actions.
I think Israel's expanding or extending the war beyond Palestine to Lebanon, to Iran, and to Qatar has got the whole region worried. And that is why this emergency summit meeting of Arab League and OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, together 22 nations of Arab League and OIC 57 nations. So that shows that there is a kind of a discomfort, if not uproar, that they need to collectively respond to Israel expanding its military action. But whether they will actually be able to create some kind of a joint force and whether that joint force will be anywhere close to be compared with NATO, I think those are serious questions. Even at this summit meeting, one could note a whole visible divergence of opinions as to what they are conceptualizing. They could not even identify what that minimal action they are conceptualizing against Israel. Of course, they initiated a kind of an idea that they will now work towards a joint Arab force of some sort, in which, of course, Egypt has claimed to be the headquarters and then leader, and the first commander for Star General should come from Egypt. But in terms of actual capabilities, Egypt's defense budget is often calculated between $5 to $7 billion, compared to Saudi Arabia, $75 to $80 billion. So that is an enormous difference in military capacity. Of course, Iran wants to make an Islamic NATO. Egypt wants to create Arab NATO. Erdogan of Turkey is saying let's restrain it to economic pressures rather than initiating a military kind of conceptualizing a NATO affair. So enormous difference. I mean, the whole Arab League nations together have about 150 to $160 billion budget, defense budget put together, compared to NATO 1.5 trillion US dollars. So, first of all, calling it an Arab or Islamic NATO is perhaps clearly misplaced. And there have been initiatives before. I mean, we know after Arab Spring, Saudi Arabia had announced a 34 nations collective force to fight terrorism. And again, in 2015, Arab League itself, the Sharm el-Sheikh summit meeting, had again initiated some kind of Arab League. Nothing has conceptualized, nothing has come out because of enormous difference.
Professor Swing, that's one part of the issue. We look at the military aspect of the actions of Israel in Gaza, but there is a political issue, which is the two-state solution. Let's talk about that. Is this conflict a result of the two-state solution being put at the back burner?
I think not only the two states proposal is put on back burner, it's been increasingly destroyed virtually on the ground over years, the way Gaza has been virtually taken over years again and again. Militarily, I think it is surprising, indeed shocking, to see the collateral damage. Estimates are up to 60,000 people dying in that small little territory of Gaza Strip. And that militarily, I mean, we always had such a pride about Israeli military being a very potent force. Nobody is defending what happened in October 2023. Of course, that was a terrible thing to happen. Yes. But in response to kill 60,000 people, to try and assassinate people who you are negotiating with is equally reprehensible. It's not acceptable in that sense. So I think if anyone has to take initiative in going back to two states solution, stopping the war, it has to be Israel primarily, because right now it appears Israel is unstoppable most powerful, doing the way it wants to do things. In my understanding, there are two likelihoods how war in Gaza will end. One, the entire leadership of Hamas is destroyed, decimated, as per Prime Minister Netanyahu's understanding. Second, if there is an internal kind of disruption and Netanyahu's government falls, several of his very close associates have left him over a period of time. But there is also an understanding that Netanyahu's political career will continue as long as the war continues. And therefore, unless there is
Okay.
either an internal busting or, his way is really achieved in terms of, in his understanding, entire Hamas leadership evaporated. Right from 1920s, Kartikya, Jewish mindset has very clear focus on assassinations as a very potent strategy. That is why they were even trying to negotiate, they were even trying to assassinate people they were negotiating with. So I think Israel has a primary sort of responsibility to push things in a direction where this war can come to an end. Nobody else is able to stand in front of Israel in the region. So therefore, it can continue
Okay.
doing whatever it wants.
Or is it
Only war.
okay? Or